So, Mr. Delique, you've come in to ask for a raise. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on a few things today. Uh, what do you think about tiered learning and UDL in promoting student learning?
All boring. Big focus on data collection. All the data I need is when my eye meets theirs and I know they're up to no good. Some people use the data to see who needs more time, more support in different areas. I'll tell you where they need support. 1. Shutting their little mouths. Oi! 2. I know they could all use a little more meat on those bones, or complaining about how much they have to carry around in their bags. All that effort. I mean, you hear of some teachers, heaven forbid, collecting data and seeing what the kid is obviously failing miserably at, and changing what they do. Good grief. What's the best way for me to teach these students? Good grief. How can I change what I do? It's like they don't even know what tiered learning is. Personally, I've chosen Tier 1 for my teaching style. Very economical, reaches all students. Between you and me, there's this teacher down the hall. She thinks she has to use all 3, Miss Pearson. So she thinks Tier 1 reaches 80% of the kids, Tier 2, 15% of the kids, and Tier 3, 5% of the kids. Come on, Miss Pearson, just pick one and get on with it. She plans weeks in advance before she gets a new class for the year. She says she wants to get an idea of who the different kids are and how they learn. Then she'll plan around them. She says it saves more work that way because you don't have to adjust much later when unforeseen learning challenges come up. Meanwhile, I'm down at the pub making the most of my holidays, trying to drink away my guilt, which I shouldn't even feel. She's making everybody look bad. Saves adjusting later. Here's a tip. Clear consequence. Solid as a stone curriculum. Survival of the fittest. Which is Jack at the moment. Scored 97 on an Applan. That's right. And that there, that's when you know you're doing something right.
So, what do you think about UDL then?
Unjustified delinquent labour. As in labouring over delinquents unjustifiably.
So, trying to reach all students by teaching in different ways, being flexible in how they're assessed.
Good grief.
Trying to make content relevant and interesting on an individual level to promote engagement.
Good grief! This is verging on unjustifiable hardship. The amount of personal stress I would undergo to provide all that. I mean, just imagine using pictures in a mathematics lesson. Heaven forbid if there's a Chinese student in my class. I don't know Chinese. When they are in my classroom, they are required to speak proper English. Not have me running around trying to make life easy for them. That's not the real world. It's tough.
Multiple means of representation?
Like letting them choose how they show me what they know.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Miss Pearson lets her kids run wild. She thinks about all the different ways the kids learn and formulates multiple ways that the kids can submit assessments. Billy loves filming childish little documentaries, so she let him make a documentary about their history unit. Well, Genevieve, bless her soul, loves to write, so she got to submit a mini essay. Thank goodness Miss Pearson had enough sense to get some writing happening in that room. And well, that's just it, you see. If they can't show me what they know in writing, how are they going to get good NAPLAN scores? You don't know something until you can show it in writing. Helps get their thoughts together. It's too bad little Taj can't get his thoughts together though. Going to bring down the NAPLAN result for the whole school. Little wimp cries whenever I tell him. Great idea's been going around though. I'm just going to ask him to stay home on NAPLAN day. Better score for the school, less stress for him. What can I say? I'm a humanist.
You know, this is turning out to be a very eye-opening interview, Mr. Delique.
I know, it's amazing how much of an impact those little blighters have on school reputation. As for multiple means of engagement, I've been lucky enough to be in a room with a blackboard and a whiteboard. We've got 4 different coloured whiteboard markers and at least 3 different chalks. Miss Pearson uses a smart board, gets up videos with subtitles, audio clips, photos. Distracting. Nothing better to learn literacy and numeracy than seeing them in their purest form on the blackboard.
How do you use social and emotional learning in your classroom?
I like to think school should be a place of regimented order, much like the army. And in the army, when men cry, they get yelled at. All this rot about emotional control having positive effects on academic success. Book hard study gets you places. Not knowing that you feel sad that Rachel stole your multicoloured pencil. You know, I read somewhere, limiting care to emotional or sentimental caring can be dysfunctional without intentional plans to prepare students for skills needed to live independently. You know, that's why I don't waste my time on all this mushy stuff. Instead, I get them to do independent life skill things, like go down to the shops to get me a pie and a coffee. Trick is to send them down with just a little bit under how much it costs. Workers have kid pity, and I get a $4 meal deal. Brilliant.
You've mentioned Miss Pearson a few times. Do you have any more insight into how she handles herself with social and emotional learning, by any chance, maybe?
Oh yeah, about time she got exposed. She believes that being emotionally capable can lead to the control of negative emotions towards school and study. And she believes that that increases positive emotions, which then increases motivation, which then increases engagement. So to help them learn about all their wishy-washy emotions, she gets them to feel all comfortable, valued, and gives them regular structures. She goes through a whole program. A whole intentional program. My guess is she doesn't even get to the curriculum. She gets them recognising and regulating their emotions, thinking about others' perspectives, figuring out what they're good at, understanding social situations, communicating, cooperating and compromising with people they don't agree with, de-escalating conflict, teaching them how to be all moral, rejecting provocations, asking for help, planning and goal setting, evaluating the effectiveness of their actions and, well, changing ineffective social and emotional strategies.
Wow, Miss Pearson sounds great.
You what?
Tell me how she approaches social inclusion.
Well, I think personally, if you teach all students the same, they'll all benefit and be at the same level when they leave. Miss Pearson, on the other hand, she yabbers on about how we need to accept all students are different. She takes it way too far, though. She doesn't want the dumb kids to know that they're, well, dumb. So she makes up a bunch of activities about stupid things like Minecraft or My Little Pony at different ability levels, so that they can choose for themselves what they do. That's right, kids choosing for themselves. What a load of rot. Then they can all choose from the activities and not feel excluded or different.
Fantastic!
Well, I'm all about making sure they don't feel different. Everyone is treated exactly the same
Fantastic.
in my class.
Tell me how you will be incorporating student-centered processes throughout your lessons if you get this raise.
Student-centered? Are you mad, man? I will be ensuring that my students are all treated with complete equality. No student gets special treatment. Wasting my time asking them how they're coping with and enjoying the work. Wasting my time getting to know every darn kid and what they like, making lessons centered around them. Learning happens best individually, through fear. They won't do anything on their own, they need fixing, especially the dumb ones. Miss Pearson talks about making work relevant to all the students so it's meaningful. What's more relevant to students than doing schoolwork? I refuse to spend as much time focusing on the learner than on the learning. Mrs. Pearson wastes her time shaping her lessons around their childish interests. I I refuse to. I will teach them what they need to know. I am the more knowledgeable other. I am the more knowledgeable other. King says learner performance is optimized through guidance by a more knowledgeable other who structures an optimal level of challenge. The students need challenge and they need me. Asking your kids at the start of a lesson to remember what they know and relate it to what they like. How does what they already know link with what I want them to learn? Another pitiful one-liner from Miss Pearson. What do they know? Disrespect. What will they know when I'm finished with them? Respect. And that is why you need to give me this raise, not for me, but for the kids.
Ellie, can you organise an appointment with Miss Pearson? Mr. Delique, I'd like to thank you for your time today, but I don't think that I actually could in good conscience. See, your teaching methods are the exact opposite of what we want in our school. Have you got any final words before you're fired?
Well, I know a very good student stew recipe I could give you.